Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. 2 days to go until it all kicks off. Brentford away on Friday night, kicking off the Premier League season, of course. And of course, we found out yesterday who we're going to be playing in the second round of the League Cup EFL trophy, something that we haven't done. Well, we've never done. We never normally come in at this stage because we're always in European football. But we will be joining it in the second round, and we'll be playing West Brom away. So not the easiest of games for your first game in the EFL Cup, but that's who we'll be facing. But will any signings be coming in? Yesterday was an absolute frenzy all about Aaron Ramsdale. We spoke about it on last night's News Daily, which I did with Chris Hudson. You've got to check that show out. It was really, really good last night. And Aaron Ramsdale was said to be on the verge of signing for Arsenal. They were in advanced talks and everything was progressing nicely. Then later on, we found out that the talks had completely collapsed between the two clubs, which of course is Arsenal and Sheffield United. They're still very far apart on their valuation. And now we're being told that Arsenal have walked away completely from the deal of signing Aaron Ramsdale. Ramsdale, understandably, is gutted about the whole thing. He wanted to sign for Arsenal, was desperate. But Arsenal are just saying to Sheffield United, you know what, you're being unrealistic. You know, Arsenal said to put over £20 million on the table for Aaron Ramsdale. They're after a homegrown goalkeeper. And Sheffield United have said, no, thank you. We want 30 million. And Arsenal just said, you know what, it's ridiculous now. We've put in bids before. This is it now. That was our final offer. We're walking away. So the Aaron Ramsdale deal is off. Will it be revived before the end of the transfer window? There's always a possibility. The window doesn't close until the 31st. But the reports are that Arsenal now have moved on at looking at other targets. And of course, there are other targets. There's Sam Johnson, of course. So I just spoke about West Brom, who plays for West Brom. He's older, but he's an alternative. And why not move for a Sam Johnson? Be a lot cheaper. He is older at 28, but he's a homegrown goalkeeper. And said to be the valuation there, 20 million, could get done for even cheaper at West Brom. So there's that. There's also, of course, there's the Andre Onana, which we've spoken about before. Andre Onana, the Ajax keeper. We know he's on that ban, but he will be free to play from November. That's another alternative. There's Neto from Barcelona, 31, knocking on a bit, but he's available. The only thing I would say is that all the talk is, and it was really interesting seeing what Matt Ryan said the other day, is that he was told when he left Arsenal that, you know, we like you, but we're after a homegrown English goalkeeper. That's what they want. So it boils down to really just a few targets. So what are Arsenal going to do on this front? I think, you know, again, we're looking at going into the first game of the season against Brentford with no real established backup goalkeeper. I guess Runarsson will be the number 2 for that game. But when he's played before, he's looked really shaky. It's not a good position to go into that game in. You know, I hope and pray between now and tomorrow that Leno doesn't pick up any injury in training or anything like that, or doesn't get injured during the game. It's a real gamble. And it's really weird that we've left it this late to try and get that deal done before the start of the season. But that deal has collapsed, and Aaron Ramsdale will not be joining Arsenal. And as I said, still time maybe for Arsenal to go back, but the talk is they're done with it. They've had enough. James Maddison, real interesting comments yesterday coming from Brendan Rodgers, who openly admitted to, he's doing an interview on Sky Sports, openly admitted that he understands why James Maddison would want to, you know, move to one of the bigger clubs, you know, like obviously he's talking about Arsenal, the club that are linked with him. He said the so-called Big Six. But he's saying that, listen, we've got everything here at Leicester that he needs. We've got a brand new training ground. We've got excellent players. We finished 5th 2 seasons in a row. He's telling Maddison there's no need to leave. You can get it all here. Again, that's another one that's going to rumble. I keep saying it every day. It's going to rumble right down until the end of the window because he's putting out noises. He's trying to persuade Maddison that, listen, stay. And Maddison still may stay. Remember when Arsenal tried to get Jamie Vardy that time? We didn't get him, right? So we got to remember that. We didn't get Jamie Vardy that time. So it could be that Maddison does decide to, to stay. It will be a big blow again because we know that Arsenal need a creative player. But again, this is one of these ones that's going to rumble right until the end of the transfer window. But could Arsenal be set to go back for Martin Odegaard? Now, this one's kind of really brewing up, the Martin Odegaard one, because there's a lot of reports and claims today that Arsenal are ready in a new bid for Martin Odegaard. Real Madrid said to be very, they would be willing to sell him if they got in around about 40 million plus for Martin Odegaard. We already know that Arsenal and Mikel Arteta in particular loves Odegaard. And it's really interesting that at the weekend, Odegaard left out again in a friendly. Real Madrid were playing AC Milan. And despite the fact that Toni Kroos is out injured, Ancelotti decided to play Isco, Modric and Casemiro in the midfield. Is that another sign? Is that something, again, saying to Martin Odegaard that, listen, you are not the go-to guy. You're not going to be the guy that's going to start the majority of the games. And Odegaard's said to be a bit unhappy. He's really considering his future. And Real Madrid are said to be willing to let him go if the price is right. So, sorry, I keep repeating myself, but it is one that we are going to look at and keep looking at until it goes down to the end of the window. There's different scenarios here. Maddison, Odegaard. Which one are Arsenal going to make that decisive move on? Those two seem to be the favoured ones in that attacking midfield position, more than, say, a Hossim Aouar. But it may be that if they have difficulty in, extreme difficulty in getting in those two, then they might turn to Hossim Aouar. It's a real sort of juggling that's going to be going on between now and the end of the transfer window. Another interesting one was Tammy Abraham. Tammy Abraham, of course, playing for Chelsea yesterday. Chelsea, they won the Super Cup. How annoying is it? They're winning everything, Chelsea, man. Won that on penalties. But Chelsea won the Super Cup last night on penalties. Tammy Abraham was, of course, in that Chelsea squad, which surprised some people, the fact that he was even in that squad, because all the talk is that he's going to be leaving Chelsea. Lukaku flew in yesterday to Chelsea, set to sign, could even be announced today. Now, Chelsea, Tammy Abraham was on the bench last night. Chelsea in that game, they went to extra time. They made 6 substitutions and Tammy Abraham still didn't get on the pitch. What does that tell you? That tells you that he's going. They obviously didn't want to bring him on to risk him. And that tells you all you need to know, that Tammy Abraham is going. But where will he end up? We know the teams that are interested in him. Roma's representatives set to fly in today for discussions with Chelsea. They want to bring Tammy Abraham on a 2-year loan deal with an option, with an obligation to buy at the end of it. Atalanta over there, of course, they're very interested in him as well, but may not be able to stump up the cash. And of course, there's Arsenal, where Tammy Abraham wants to come to. Arsenal still very interested in him, but a lot of things depend on if they can make the move. Will Lacazette go? There's been talk that Lacazette may even go to Roma. He's been offered to Roma, but again, he has to want to go to Roma. They're going to have to meet, some of those wages that he's on at Arsenal. So lots of things to look at, but very interesting that Tammy Abraham did not get on the pitch at all in that game last night, despite it going to extra time. So he's on the move, but where? And this guy, Takehiro Tomiyasu, who was linked all summer to Tottenham. A couple of weeks ago, he was on the verge of signing for Tottenham. He's a very good defender, centre-back. He's got their midfielder, but he's not a midfielder. He's a defender. Plays for Bologna, 22, and he had an excellent season last year. And a lot of people raving about him as being one of, you know, the better defenders in Serie A last season. As I said, plays for Bologna. Now, Spurs were set to sign him. Didn't. They went for Christian Romero. There's still talk that Spurs may still sign him as well, but Arsenal are now in the frame as well. Arsenal said to be considering him. It's a bit of a surprise, this one, because you look at it and you say, well, we've gone all out and we've bought Ben White. And you think to yourself, that's it, business done in that area. And he's sort of more of a, you know, can play as a centre-back, can play as a right-back. But £15 million is a steal. If he did come in, if Arsenal did say try and get him done, and I'm very sceptical on this one, even though the links are out there, but then surely that would be the end of Rob Holding. And we spoke about it yesterday, Holding being linked with a move away, possibly to Newcastle. But somehow I'm not really having this one. I don't know. I'm just very unsure that Arsenal are going to make a move for him, although, you know, you can never say never in this transfer market. So many different things can happen. But Arsenal said to be interested in him, or is it just a ploy by his agent to push Spurs into getting the deal done soon? I don't know, but it's out there today. It's another one of those rumours. And Lucas Torreira, it's looking more and more likely that he could be heading to Lazio on a loan deal with an option to buy at the end of it. His representatives are negotiating hard at the moment with Lazio, and that is a deal that could get done. We know that Arsenal want to move him on. They're finding difficulty in finding a team that's going to, again, pay the sort of transfer fees that we paid for him. But this may be the way to move him on, with getting him out on loan with that option to buy at the end. And Lazio said to be very, very interested in signing Lucas Torreira. So let's see how that one pans out. So those are your rumors for today. As I said, 1 day left. 1 day left before the season kicks off. But still a couple of weeks for the transfer window. So let's see what happens. One thing for sure, we ain't going to have a new signing starting in the game tomorrow. That's for sure. You know, that's been a signing that's been done this week. So now probably Arsenal are going to be looking to next week or the week after in getting certain signings done, but still getting linked to so many different players. Thanks for watching the show today. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget AFTV News Daily tonight, should I say. And don't forget to check out Box to Box, where we're previewing the brand new season, and we're previewing that game against Brentford. Talk is Cheap is out as well. Make sure you check out all of those videos over here on AFTV, and I'll see you tomorrow.